Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. I am your Heavenly Father, Kevin Williams. And we're just going to spill some COVFEFE right now. It's the West Coast where I am. I don't feel quite so detailed this morning. So what a night in terms of the news. There's a hurricane going on. And but we're going to take a look at some of the news. The Pentagon is speaking shortly, according to the reports in the chat room there. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, Liberty. Hi, Deidre. Hi, Marcy. Hi, Tracy. Who else is here this morning? At randoms out there. Hi, Rusty. I get to see Rusty this week. The big news is I booked a commercial up in Seattle this week, so I'll be flying up there. And at some point, I hope to see Rusty, which is like the people who are making the commercial are like, we'll pay you. And I'm like, I don't keep your money. I don't care. I just want to see Rusty. Hi, Joshua. Good to see you. So we'll take a look at what's going on out there. There's a hurricane coming. There's a hurricane coming when there's no hospital space in Louisiana or Mississippi or Florida or Alabama or anywhere near there. So the folks who you would normally evacuate from the hospitals in New Orleans, etc., can't be evacuated anywhere because there's nowhere for them. Why? Because of the Delta. Speaking of which, I'm flying Delta. I'm a little bit concerned. I shouldn't be. Delta actually is doing a really good job. The airline is doing a really good job at avoiding using Delta. They're just calling it the variant. Or they call it B17611.3 or whatever. And they're taking it with a good sense of humor. Let's see what is going on. We got the Pentagon update soon. So if someone's got that on their TV screen, please alert me when that comes on. I'll try and keep it going as well. How can I do that? I can probably... might be able to do picture-in-picture. I can, but I don't know how. Hold on. Let me drag this over here. So we'll keep an eye, and we'll go to the Pentagon when the Pentagon's... But first, let's just get an update from Fox and Friends on what happened last night. There was a drone strike or a missile strike or something or other targeting ISIS-K in Afghanistan.
We begin with a Fox News alert and a live look at Kabul. The Biden administration warning the city will likely see another terror attack before U.S. troops leave on Tuesday.
The warning comes as the U.S. launches a drone strike on the ISIS-K planner, believed to be behind Thursday's bombings that killed 13 U.S. service members.
Doug Luzader joins us live with more as the U.S. tells Americans to stay away from Kabul airport and the ongoing...
So apparently the U.S. killed the ISIS-K planner with a drone yesterday. Is it just me, or is this the first time anyone's been called a planner? Like, apart from an architectural firm, I've never heard anybody called a planner. Oh, well, what's this guy do for the terrorists? No, he plans things. Have I been missing this my entire life? Do organizations have people called planners? Or are we all just saying ISIS-K planner? Like he plans Ks. Is that what we're doing now? I don't know. It's like suddenly bin Laden had a stronghold and everybody had a stronghold. Compounds I'd heard of. Houses I'd heard of. Castles. Fortresses. Forts. Compounds? Yeah, but strongholds? Now, planners? Strategists? Leaders? It's a bunch of different things you can call them, but planners. I don't know. It sounds weird to me. One way or another, he doesn't care anymore. Got himself 72 virgins, so lucky.
Threat.
Honestly, though, I don't want me 72 virgins. Like, why? Why? Oh, hi, you're brand new at this. Great. I'll be spending eternity with you. You guys don't have to stay virgins, do you? Is there anyone here who's not a virgin? Knows their way around the backyard? And no? All right. Morning, Kimchi.
Doug?
Good morning. Well, the president promised to take action at some point in
Oh, Discount Anderson Cooper's going to tell us all about things.
response to the attacks in Kabul that left 13 U.S. service members dead.
Oh, it's Doug Zoolander. I love this guy.
This appears to be part of that effort. This was a drone strike near the border with Pakistan, targeting an individual referred to as an Islamic State planner who was in the midst of preparing for future attacks. Now, the details are still somewhat scarce on this, and it's not clear.
Yeah, ISIS K planner. He's a K planner. What?
If this person was involved in this week's bombing, but a U.S. official says this individual was hit while in a vehicle with an associate, and this follows some tough words from the administration yesterday.
So I don't know if that's the explosion, that smoke that we're looking at right there, because I keep seeing the same footage of a plane taking off. It's in Nangarhar province, which is, it looks like east of Kabul right there. I don't know.
Details are still somewhat scarce on this, and it's not clear if this person was involved in this week's bombing, but a U.S. official says this individual was hit while in a vehicle with an associate, and this follows some tough words from the administration yesterday.
Like, why would we be, is that a C-131 taking off there? Somebody in the military let me know. It looks like it, but that's got to be the airport. So is this after, this is Thursday, so this must be after the bombing is what this is. So that footage is from a couple of days ago with the tragic loss of 13 lives. I heard something interesting the other day. So, and forgive me, please, and I'm being very serious right now. I don't know the figures. I heard it was 11 Marines, 2 Army, 1 Navy. Special Forces. I don't know. Because every time you hear stuff like this, first it was 11. At first it was 4. Then it was 13, then it was 12, then it was back to 13. So the numbers are always sketchy. I saw an exchange on, I think, Twitter, where someone was saying, oh, it's get it right, people. It's 11 Marines and 2 Army Corps, whatever it was. And a Marine said, hey, when you're doing active duty with the Marines, when we're out on a mission, everyone's a Marine. So you can go ahead and say 13 Marines because everyone gets to be an honorary Marine if you're out there with us. I just thought, that sounds like a Marine. My nephew is a Marine, was a Marine, Semper Fi. Suffered permanent hearing loss because of it. He was in charge of a group of guys that would set off those cannons, and they all end up with hearing loss. So he gets like, I don't know, $100 a month or something from the government for suffering permanent hearing damage. I don't know if that's worth the trade. Hold on. What? I can't hear you.
When the president says, we will hunt you down and make you pay.
So this is Peter Deuce. He is the reporter who asked the questions at the White House for Fox News. I don't know. For yesterday, after the terrorist attack, it was a constant attack from other terrorists in the GOP. The president, you said swift retribution. Well, how come nothing's happened? It's been almost an hour. Well, now the K planner's dead.
What does that look like? Is he going to order a mission?
I believe K Planner itself is a Korean pop boy band. And I'm a little bit concerned about the safety of their, although I've heard some of their music and it's not, we're better off without it.
To kill the people responsible, or would he be satisfied if they are captured and brought to trial?
I think he made clear yesterday that he does not want them to live on the earth anymore.
Okay, the airport in Kabul, meantime, now in its final few days of U.S. control, is on high alert for another possible attack. But the evacuation flights are continuing, and the U.S. Embassy is warning Americans at the same time to steer clear of the airport. And while many loyal Afghans and U.S. citizens will no doubt be left behind because of next week's deadline, some of those who have been fortunate enough to make it out are heading to a group of U.S. military bases as lawmakers here in Washington and many Afghans plead for more time.
The whole world is watching the hopelessness and weakness of America. We are not asking you to re-escalate, come back militarily. We are asking United States to project confidence, hope, power, not weakness, not desperation, not being seen as a superpower on run and unable to do anything.
Okay, so this is the Afghan vice president. You know, the guy whose government completely crumbled in 11 days. That's who was on Hannity saying we need the United States to project power. Dude, the United States gave you $2 trillion, I almost said billion, $1 trillion. They built a military for you, 300 men strong. I'm assuming women as well. Actually, no, there was a female fighter pilot, so I know they were using women as well. They equipped you with apparently $80 billion worth of the best equipment in the United States, the best in the world, according to Trump. And you guys just dropped your weapons and ran. So, yeah, really the U.S. is to blame for this.
Okay, the administration.
Oh, and that was, of course, before... Oh, here we go. It's the Pentagon's... No, not quite yet. Looks like the Pentagon's going live in a second here. So there's probably... We'll learn more at the Pentagon. Here we go.
And Secretary, I should say, thank you very, very much. Let's get the latest on where things stand.
Update for today. Yesterday, U.S. military forces conducted an over-the-horizon counterterrorism operation against an ISIS-K planner and facilitator. The airstrike occurred in the Nangarhar province of Afghanistan. I can confirm, as more information has come in, that 2 high-profile ISIS targets were killed and 1 was wounded. And we know of 0 civilian casualties. Without specifying any future plans, I will say that we will continue to have the ability to defend ourselves and to leverage over-the-horizon capability to conduct counter-terrorism operations as needed.
So here's what's going to happen. A whole bunch of people on the right are going to say, oh, great, you got 2 terrorists. They killed 13 of our brave soldiers. We're not done.
We continue to evacuate American citizens and vulnerable Afghans out of Kabul. In fact, there are approximately 1,400 individuals at the Kabul airport who have been screened and manifested for flights today. As I said yesterday, we have the ability to include evacuees on military airlift out of Afghanistan until the very end. This is a massive military, diplomatic, security, and humanitarian undertaking for the United States and our allies. And so I'll give you a specific update of the last 24. Yesterday, 32 U.S. military aircraft, 27 C-17s, and 5 C-130s departed with approximately 4,000 personnel. Combined with 34 coalition aircraft departures, an additional 2,800 personnel left Kabul for various intermediate staging bases. 66 flights left out of Kabul yesterday in that 24-hour period with 6,800 evacuees. Today I can report an updated total evacuation that is more than 117,000, the vast majority of which are Afghans. Of this total number, approximately 5,400 are American citizens. This is an incredible number of people who are now safer thanks to the heroism of the young men and women who are putting their lives on the line each day to evacuate American and vulnerable Afghans out of Kabul. Threats to our forces and to this operation remain real and significant. I'm sure you can appreciate that. And now as the military mission begins to end in Kabul, thousands of service members are working across the globe and within the United States to complete this incredibly important mission. Out of the EUCOM AOR, 6 flights will transport about 2,000 Afghans to the United States. Since August 20th, the EUCOM AOR has received nearly 30,000 vulnerable Afghans and evacuees. A good example of how we're building out capacity as we execute this incredibly important mission, a flight from Italy will fly to Philadelphia International Airport, the second U.S. onward location to receive flights. As NORTHCOM Commander General Van Herk said in his brief yesterday, our total capacity across multiple U.S. installations is approximately 21,000 and growing. We're steadily working to increase the capacity to 50,000 by September 15th. Right now, we are hosting approximately 8,000 Afghan applicants at Fort McCoy, Fort Bliss, Fort Lee, and Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst. A dedicated team of military, civilian, and contract personnel are working closely with numerous agencies, both government and non-government, to ensure further requirements and additional capabilities are available. We will keep you updated on this effort. Southcom continues to conduct humanitarian relief operations in Haiti, and Northcom, while simultaneously executing evacuation flights, is postured to support FEMA as a lead federal agency in preparing for Tropical Storm Ida. Lastly, I want to share that the Department of Defense will shortly announce the names of the 13 service members who were killed in service to their country. We grieve with the Gold Star families, friends, and loved ones of our fallen. They will be remembered and revered among Americans who have served in Afghanistan in Operations Freedom Sentinel and Enduring Freedom.
Okay, I don't have anything to add, so we'll go right to questions. Bob.
Thank you, John. A couple of questions on the strike last night in Afghanistan. General Taylor just said that 2 high-profile targets were killed and 1 wounded. Initial announcements, I think.
My question is, how do you end up surviving a drone strike on a car? From what I've heard anyway, that was a vehicle that was hit with a drone. How big is that car? Were they driving a school bus and one guy was sitting in the back?
Said 1.
Yep.
This was all the same strike? Was it a single strike? And can you explain any more about whether these individuals were directly involved in the Thursday bombing at Kabul airport?
So it was, without getting into too much tactical detail in terms of munitions used, I would tell you it was a single mission. And to get these targets, and as the assessments and information flowed over time, we were able to recognize that another was killed as well, and 1 wounded. So, I mean, battle damage assessment, as you know, sometimes takes time. Information comes in. As we have more clarity, we wanted to be transparent about that.
But the planner...
So what this tells us, by the way, is that the U.S. has a fantastic intelligence source within ISIS-K. Because not only did they know about the attack specific to the gates, they had it narrowed down to 3 gates and told the Americans, hey, don't go near those gates, Abbey Gate, Delta Gate, whatever. Stay away from those gates. But they also were able to ascertain the position of the K-planner within a matter of hours to... And we don't know. We don't know exactly how this worked because you don't give away your tactical advantage like that. But it sounds like they were traveling in a vehicle or sitting in a vehicle or at a house next to a vehicle or whatever, and the drone took them out. And then they were able to get the battle assessment fairly quickly to find out, oh, we killed 2 people. Oh, and there's another guy wounded. They've got somebody on the inside.
Facilitator description, does that mean they were involved directly in the Kabul airport attack?
They were ISIS-K planners and facilitators, and that's an...
They were all planners and facilitators. ISIS-K logistic personnel. Has anybody else heard of a planner before? Oh, you know, he plans things. I don't remember any Al-Qaeda planners.
enough reason.
Facilitator. I'm Bin Laden's facilitator, he said.
They're alone. I won't speak to the details.
I found him his stronghold.
Of these individuals or what their specific roles might be. But as the general said, we have the ability and the means to carry out over-the-horizon counterterrorism capabilities, and we're going to defend ourselves. And I think I just leave it at that.
Thank you. I'd like to ask you another question about the airport situation at the moment.
Yeah.
Is it true that only U.S. passport holders are being allowed onto the airport now through the gates?
Any U.S. passport holder that wants to get in can get in, and we are still. If I'm wrong here, I don't think I'm wrong. Well, we are still processing and getting on planes SIV applicants as well as vulnerable Afghans.
Special immigrant visas.
Being allowed onto the airport.
That's right. As far as I know, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think that's changed. Idris?
So it didn't really answer the question. The rumors and the reports have it that the Taliban is no longer letting Afghan citizens to the airport. Now, the U.S. military is letting them onto the airport, but they have to get to the airport. That being said, 100,000 of them have been evacuated. There's an additional, what did he say earlier, 600 people waiting to be evacuated today? Probably higher than that. But again, the reporting is that the Taliban have shut down access to the airport. And I don't know what's true.
Hey John, so can you give us the names of the 2 individuals killed in this strike?
No, we're not going to release the names.
Because
we're just not going to release the names.
And if I can just go back to Thursday's suicide bombing, there appear to be images and reports from the ground that some of the Afghan civilians killed may have been shot by the Marines at the gate. At this point in time, since we're 48 hours, do you have any evidence that the Marines or any of the U.S. troops may have shot injured or wounded?
We don't. We can't confirm that, and we certainly are not in a position to deny it either. We are investigating this, and as we get more information that we can reliably communicate to you about this incident, we will. Yeah, Tara.
The State Department issued another dire warning saying don't approach the gates. Did this airstrike have anything to do with that potential for future attack? Can you talk about what capabilities ISIS might have lost in this drone strike?
Well, a couple of things. I'll let the State Department speak for the advisory they sent out. That is not uncommon for them to do that, particularly in a country like Afghanistan, and they're constantly watching the threat environment, as are we, and they're doing a prudent, responsible thing to inform Americans there in Kabul about what's best for their own safety. But again, I think I'll let the State Department speak to the rationale there. Obviously, again, they're doing what they believe they need to do to keep people safe. I am not going to talk about specific capabilities ISIS may have lost in this strike. They lost a planner, and they lost a facilitator, and they've got 1 wounded. And the fact that 2 of these individuals are no longer walking on the face of the earth, that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the people of Afghanistan. It's a good thing for our troops and our forces at that airfield. And I think I'm just going to leave it there.
And to follow up, can you discuss the level of threat right now at the airport? We've seen a number of the allies bring their evacuation operations to a close early. Will the U.S. still stay there through the 31st?
We are going to complete this mission by the end of the month. We've said that. Nothing has changed about the timeline for us. And we will do this in as safe and an orderly way as possible. And that includes being able to continue to evacuate right up until the end.
But what about the threats at the airport? Can you describe what are they still?
The threats are still very real. They're very dynamic. And we are monitoring them literally in real time. And as I said yesterday, we're taking all the means necessary to make sure we remain focused on that threat stream and doing what we can for force protection.
A couple of questions. First for you, John. Have U.S. troops begun retrograde withdrawal from the airport?
We have begun retrograding.
Can you say anything about the number who have left?
No, I cannot.
And then, General Taylor, for you, please. The numbers of military aircraft who have left are relatively consistent with where they've been for several days, but the number of passengers on them is down from where it was. Does that mean that the U.S. is now starting to move some equipment, military equipment on those, or are there planes that are going out just not full?
As we said, our mission to continue evacuating those as required and to meet the mission requirement by August 31st is what the commanders are executing.
So does that mean that you're starting to take some equipment out on these aircraft, or does it, or do you not have enough passengers?
Yeah, there is equipment leaving on those flights too that was originally planned.
And then if I could ask one more, since have there been any attacks? General McKenzie talked about how the Taliban had thwarted some attacks before Thursday's attack. Have there been any other cases that you're aware of that the Taliban have actually stopped attackers from getting in towards the airport?
I don't have specific reports of that, other than, as you can see, as we just talked, the security of the base is the most important thing that we're doing to allow us to continue our mission.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, John, you said the threat at the airport remains active and dynamic. Is it fair to say that whether or not those people killed last night deserve to be on the face of the earth or not, that the threat at the airport remains unchanged?
I wouldn't say that it remains unchanged. I didn't say that. I said it remains active and dynamic, and it does.
Is it as serious as it was yesterday?
It is a serious threat. I'm not sure how any...
I'm not sure why I asked that question. Of course, there's threats to the United States and Afghanistan. There are always threats to the United States, but okay.
Potential terrorist threat can be anything other than serious, or that we shouldn't take it seriously. It's serious.
Yesterday, you denied the Taliban claim that they had assumed responsibility for security at some parts of the airport. Is that still the case, that the Taliban do not provide security at the airport itself?
That is still the case.
And is that going to remain the case until the end, or at some point do they have to move into the airport to keep the crowds at bay while those last planes take off?
I'm not going to talk about the specifics as we get closer to the end. Let me just say this, as clearly as I can, we will maintain the ability to defend ourselves and our operations all the way through. Yeah, Lucas.
John, did the Taliban in any way provide any intelligence or any support with this drone strike that killed those 2 ISIS terrorists?
I'm not going to talk about intelligence matters one way or the other.
All right, we've gleaned all the information we're going to get out of this press conference, I think. Sorry, excuse me. So I just wanted to jump on this morning and spill some COVFEFE with you guys. I think that's it for the broadcast today. I honestly have to go stretch out my my back and legs on an exercise mat, because I carried a lot of water up a lot of stairs last night, and it's killing me sitting here. But it's been fun. So I'll see what the day brings. I may be back later on today. We still have a lot of stuff to cover. We haven't covered the Trump Hannity interview. I still have the Newsmax interview from last week, which will be completely wrong by now, talking about how Biden's weak and all this other stuff. So this just goes hour by hour now. It's just people are going to be flip-flopping back and forth hour by hour. Let me just share with you this. This sums up Fox News. We'll take a look at it. Where can we take a look at it? Let me bring it up over here. We're not going to show Netflix. We're going to do this. Let's see if I can get to a Twitter. We're going to ace in. This is Fox News in a nutshell for you. Give me a moment here. Find it here, and okay. Hold on. We're going to find it here. It's from Hannity last night, and then 2 hours later on Fox News. Wait, where is it? Are we looking at Asen's page? It was there. Hold on, let me go to my profile page, because I retweeted it from Asen, and yeah, here we go. Let's watch this.
Forceful response, swift.
This is Hannity, and then this is 2 hours later on Fox.
And forceful response. Well, now that swift and forceful response is nowhere to be found, just like so many other...
It's been a day. It's been a day, Hannity.
Biden promises. Those words appear to be totally, completely hollow.
Totally, completely hollow with the swift response.
Those words do matter in this moment, but nonetheless, we're starting to hunt them down and make them pay, as the president promised just yesterday. Real quick, I also saw
swift and forceful response.
So, from hollow words to, as the president promised, we're starting to hunt them down. Yay, USA, USA. And then I'm sure this morning there's another hot take on that, and it's the wrong one. I did see some, it might be Aaron. Let me just go to Aaron here. Hold on. Oh, he was just there. There he is. He might be busy this morning. This is from, there's some youth summit too. And God, guys, I wish I could sit here all day with you because there's so much happening. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. Here's a hot take.
We have.
This is Ralph Norman. He is a representative from South Carolina. So this is after the drone strike. This is now, the United States has taken out a facilitator and or planner with ISIS-K. And here's the response.
We have dead Americans, got 5,000 that are left there. And one drone strike killing, one ISIS member. I mean, really, it's an embarrassment. And I don't see anything coming of it because look at his action. Look at his record.
One drone strike killing one. First off, it's two and another injured, but who knows? Could be more than that, too. We don't know. But it's an embarrassment. The president did something to retaliate against a terrorist organization, and it's an embarrassment. That is the take of the right. It's like waking up one morning and suddenly oranges are still called oranges, but they're not orange anymore. They're purple. It's just, what is happening with the world? Oh no, but we're still going to call them oranges. Just, it's fucking unbelievable. The filter through which these people see things. All right. Anyway, guys, I have to get up and stretch. Maybe go have myself a purple or something, and we will talk to you guys later today, or not. Probably.